Hi, I'm Dr. Elmankabadi. I'm a US board certified surgeon by training. I did my training back in New York, in SUNY Downstate and Brooklyn Hospital. I practiced as a surgeon at UCLA for a couple of years, followed by move to Amgen Oncology and FibroGen, leading that program for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I'm delighted to be invited in this conference, along with Dr. Elias Koshajgi, is our senior VP in clinical development. I want to thank Little Steps for inviting FibroGen to participate in their conference. So before I start, I have only 10 minutes to go through the agenda. I want to highlight the high endpoints of these programs and the milestones we have, and I'll give you a heads up about what's FibroGen in general, and then I'm going to open the panel for question and answer. FibroGen is a US-based company. It's worth of $4 billion. We are located in San Francisco, California, and we have two platforms, Pamrevlumab, targeting 4 indication now, which is Duchenne muscular dystrophy, locally advanced pancreatic cancer, and IPF, in addition to COVID-19. In the second platform actually is roxadustat, which is anemia-induced drug. We approval soon here in US. In general, Pamrevlumab is an antifibrotic drug. We met with the FDA in 2019, in April 2019, and Pamrevlumab was designated as an orphan drug for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Same success we had in 2019 with EMA, as designated Pamrevlumab as an orphan drug as well. And then we met with the FDA again in November 2019 in a panel discussion face-to-face, and we are presented the program, the milestone for the Pamrevlumab in Duchenne and the indication and the design for the phase 3, and they agreed on all the endpoints that we proposed and the overall design of the program. Then just before COVID, in January 2020, this year, we met with EMA, followed by MHRA in UK, and all of these health on the design of the phase 3 program, targeting Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And you can see that trial, we are anticipating to start, we started 2 months ago, study 093, LELANTOS 1. It's in clinical trial, all the inclusion and exclusion criteria. In addition, we are planning to start the ambulatory trial 094 in the coming few months. Anyway, so in a sake of the time, I want to go quickly about the objective of the administration and the dosage Pamrevlumab in LELANTOS trial. It's a phase 3 randomized double-blinded trial of Pamrevlumab or placebo in combination of systemic corticosteroid or deflazacort in subject with non-ambulatory Duchenne. The target actually, or the objective, we need to evaluate the efficacy and safety of Pamrevlumab versus ambulatory Duchenne. The dose of Pamrevlumab is 35 milligram, or placebo, of course, is 35 milligram IV per kilogram IV every 2 weeks. And the study duration is for 52 weeks. We anticipate that 27 infusion will be throughout the course of the trial. Systemic steroid, as you know, it's administration, it's given orally. So in a nutshell, this is the design of the LELANTOS trial. We are targeting 12 years and older or non-ambulatory patient. We are targeting 90 patients, randomized 1-to-1. So that the key here that we put systemic steroids in both arms, so not to prevent any possible treatment for patients. So ethically, we have all the standard of care given in Duchenne muscular dystrophy is in both arms. Screening period will be for 4 weeks, treatment for 52 weeks, follow-up 60 days after the last dose. And this is the table here is the design, the Pamrevlumab dose. So our primary endpoint is a functional endpoint and has been approved by all the health authorities. As I indicated earlier, will be the performance of the upper limb, version 2.0 from baseline to week 52, pulmonary assessment will be the forced change in percent predicted forced vital capacity measured by spirometry, change in percent predicted peak expiratory flow measured by spirometry. Performance assessment actually will be a grip strength by handheld myometry, and from baseline to week 52, and the cardiac assessment will be a left ejection fraction measured by MRI. So the safety assessment will be a treatment emergence, all the treatment emergence adverse event, all abnormalities, labs, and so forth. We have exploratory endpoints. So technically what endpoint is a Duchenne video assessment. So the caregiver will going to take some videos for these kids, for their loved one, so they can record any fine advance or deterioration in their movement across the trial through a secured web application through one of our vendor. And Duchenne video assessment, the caregiver will be given like an application or iPhone, and will be downloaded and taken this video. And all this training will be provided to the caregiver at the time of enrollment. In addition to that, we have volume at 1 second in addition to dilated cardiomyopathy in relation to LTBB4 genotype. In addition to all this, we have MRI. We designated a bunch of MRI to designate the fibrotic changes in the biceps brachii, in addition to the cardiac myocardial circumferential strain measured by late gadolinium enhancement. Key inclusion criteria, I don't want to go through this. It's the standard, it's in clinicaltrial.gov. You can go through it in details. It's mainly, it's 12 years of age, non-ambulatory patient, and so forth. Key exclusion criteria on any approved drug for Duchenne muscular dystrophy will be ruled out or not allowed to be enrolled in the trial for the first 1 year. Also, a patient who have uncontrolled NYHA class 3 and 4 of heart failure or in the of treatment for heart failure, arrhythmia, and so forth. I just want to mention also the patient will be enrolled in randomized blinded trial for only 1 year, and then we have extension of OLE, which is an open label extension, whereas all patients who are ended in the placebo or in the active arm will roll over, if they want to do it, to be enrolled in the OLE phase or extension of the trial. And all approved therapy will be given in addition to Pamrevlumab in that phase, in that extension phase. So technically, only blinded phase lasts for 1 year, and then for years will be an open label extension plus any approved therapy in addition to steroids, of course, will be given to patient actively, no placebo, no more. Then all this MRI and will be standardized by blinded committee, and also we have a DMC committee safety for these drugs in these patients, in addition to the routine FibroGen pharmacovigilance activities. We have an optional, it will be a case-by-case basis, to offer an home infusion for patients after 3 infusion. First 3 infusion will be given at the sites, and then if the PI need to have a home infusion, that will be approved through us on a case-by-case basis. So technically, I have 2 minutes to finish. Let me talk quickly about the second phase of study 094, LELANTOS 2, that will start in the coming few weeks. It's 70 patient randomized double-blinded placebo-controlled plus systemic steroids, the same style, 35 mg per kilogram IV infusion Q weekly, bi-weekly, and patient will be stratified by 44 deletion, exon deletion. And as again, the patient who completed the 52 weeks in both arms will be eligible to roll over into a separate open label extension trial where Pamrevlumab plus systemic steroid plus any approved therapy will be allowed in this extension phase. Our endpoint in the in the ambulatory trial 094 will be again function endpoint, North Star, and will be the change in forced stair climb velocity, 10-meter walk run test, time to stand, and loss of ambulation from baseline to week 52. Safety is the same style. Expresso Endpoint will also include the Duchenne video assessment, and the data monitor committee will be utilized a committee for MRI will be also utilized throughout the trial to measure the fibrotic changes in the vastus lateralis muscles for ambulatory patient. In a nutshell, conclusion, Pamrevlumab mechanism of action mitigate the fibrosis regardless of genetic mutation. That based on our data from phase 2, cardiac respiratory are leading cause of morbidity and mortality in this patient. We demonstrated in phase 2 some potential benefits in regards to the cardiac and respiratory, in addition to the muscle deterioration that occurs in this patient's population. These data strongly suggested that we initiate adequate design trial LELANTOS 1 and 2 in non-ambulatory and ambulatory patient. Finally, I want to thank Little Step for inviting FibroGen to participate in their conference for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's an important program for FibroGen, and without Israel being on board with us, we cannot succeed in this program. Therefore, I'm delighted to be a part in this conference on behalf of FibroGen.